Teachers, today I invite you to step into my classroom of 2001, which I tried out in Mysuru. In one of my classes, especially class 9, a session of 40 minutes was taken. 21 students were there. This time, a new experiment I tried. The experiment was to create questions from students. I did not want to explain the concept of the cell which I am going to present to you. The class was explained to create questions why, what, and how. This was how the introduction was made. It was a 40 minutes class. I will explain you what I did in the well, the students were made to look at the blackboard, to keep all their books, pencil, pen, and everything on the table, just to see what I would be doing it. I started drawing a cell, typical cell. I started with the outer membrane, that is the rectangular one, then the inner nucleus I wrote, then I kept on adding many things into the cell, what I could see today, now on the blackboard here. Then I started labeling one by one. I asked the students to count the number of label also as I did. So this was what I explained to them. It took nearly about 18 minutes for me to do this diagram. Then I asked them to close the books, and then I told them you must start, each student should ask 3 questions on any of the cell written on the blackboard, starting with why, what, and how. And question will have to be presented in the classroom. It was about 30 minutes time given to them. This was how the class was finished. Some students wrote many questions. I have given you some examples of starting the questions with why. Of course, these questions are curated. Whatever they written, I have changed something because it might help today for other students. Here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 questions are there. Like that, there were 30 questions. Sorry, 25 questions were there. If you just look at 1 or 2 questions, why does the cell need a membrane to maintain equilibrium? Why is the nucleus called the control center? Why are ribosomes attached to RER but not SER? These are the questions. You can read these questions carefully. I leave it to you for some time. I will read the last question. Why is the nuclear membrane double layered? So children were looking and observing the diagram I am writing, and they were made to rethink on that, and the questions were made why questions. Now come to what questions. Similarly, 25 what questions were there. I rewritten some of the questions because the English and other things were not to be presented, but I thought it should be useful to students today also. Some examples. What is the role of cytoplasm in supporting cell organelles? What happens at the nuclear pores during protein synthesis? What is the difference between RER and SER? Like that, the questions you could see are listed here. I have not listed all the questions, but it is only, as I told you, to make children to ask questions. While writing the diagram on the blackboard, I was presenting the name of the organelle I was writing and what I am writing, except that no explanation was given. Like this, there are 25 questions on what. Now I will come to how questions. The same technique was used. Here I have written some questions as I told you earlier. Since the class 9 children English was not that very good to ask a long question like this, what I have made, they just were asked me a question like, example, uh, how does cell membrane helpful, sir? How it controls substances? I changed that question, adding words to that, like, how does the cell membrane regulate movement of substances? Like this, all the questions were curated by me. I hope it is not a bad thing because I wanted to present good questions. Here also about 10 or 11 questions are there. You can read these questions carefully and that will help you to prepare for your own examination. I will just stop here. If you want, I can explain to you these things in my next presentation. Credits and attributions, concept, script, design, narration by me, that is Dr. C.G. Nagaraj, ex-headmaster of Demonstration Multipurpose School in Mysuru, attached to Regional College of Education. I worked in various compartments. I had a training from BSCS curriculum and field projects. Therefore, I am able to present to you inquiry approach in teaching. Questions are made by students, refinement by me and co-pilot, published by YouTube. Thank you for observing. Some teachers, please try this and find out how inquiry will be helpful to children.